Once upon a time, in a small village nestled in a remote corner of the world, there lived a poor cobbler named John. John was a kind and hard-working man who spent his days making shoes for the villagers. He was a skilled craftsman and took great pride in his work, but despite his best efforts, he struggled to make ends meet. One day, while John was out gathering leather for his shoes, he stumbled upon a strange old man who was sitting by the side of the road. The man was dressed in rags and appeared to be very old, with a long white beard that reached down to his waist. He had a twinkle in his eye and a mischievous smile on his face as he beckoned John over. "Good day, young man," said the old man. "I couldn't help but notice your beautiful shoes. You are a talented cobbler indeed." John thanked the old man for his kind words and asked if there was anything he could do to help him. "Actually, there is," said the old man. "I have something very special to give you. These are magic shoes, and they will bring you great fortune and happiness." John was taken aback by the old man's words. Magic shoes? He had never heard of such a thing before. But the old man insisted, and after some hesitation, John decided to accept the gift. The old man handed John a pair of worn-looking shoes and disappeared as quickly as he had come. John looked down at the shoes in his hand and felt a sense of excitement and wonder. Could they really be magic? That night, John decided to try on the shoes. As soon as he put them on, he felt a surge of energy coursing through his body. He felt light as a feather and as though he could run for miles without getting tired. But it wasn't until he stepped outside that he realized just how magical the shoes really were. With each step he took, the shoes seemed to lift him up and carry him forward. John found himself gliding effortlessly across the ground, as though he was flying. And as he walked, he noticed something else happening. The shoes were leaving behind a trail of gold coins. John couldn't believe his eyes. He had never seen so much money before. With each step he took, more and more coins appeared. He knew that this was the magic the old man had spoken of. The shoes were truly enchanted. Over the next few days, John became the richest man in the village. He was able to buy a house, new clothes, and food for his family. He was even able to hire apprentices to help him with his work. But as time went on, John began to realize that the magic shoes were more of a curse than a blessing. The shoes had brought him great wealth, but they had also brought him great greed. John found himself becoming more and more obsessed with money, and he began to neglect his family and his work. He no longer took pride in his craft, and his shoes became shoddy and poorly made. One day, as he was walking through the village in his magic shoes, John stumbled and fell. The shoes came off his feet and landed on the ground beside him. As he picked himself up, he looked down at the shoes and realized that they were no longer magical. They were just a pair of old, worn-out shoes. In that moment, John realized the true cost of his greed. He had let his obsession with money consume him, and in the process, he had lost everything that truly mattered. He knew that he could never go back to the way things were before, but he also knew that he had to try. And so, John set to work, repairing